One.
Hello, hello, and welcome to You Are the Miracle podcast. I am Cheyenne Kramer. This is my better half.
Don Kramer. Hello, everyone. Hope you're having a great evening. We are.
Absolutely. And, tonight we're excited. You hear from me and Don a lot, but we're only 2/3 of the We Care Partnerships team.
That's right.
And so we got the other third here with us tonight, as well as the founder of the Hope Institute that Don and I also work with and support in as many ways as we can. So welcome, Rick. So glad to have you with us tonight.
Hello, friends. How are you?
Good deal. Well, we typically have folks that pop in and out while we're here, and hopefully, people will find some of the things that we talk about tonight to be interesting enough that even if they didn't get to watch the live stream, they might consider sharing this around, leaving some comments, and just letting us know what kind of perspectives they have on this. Because I know one of my big challenges, and I know you share it too, and I'm pretty sure you do too, Rick. From where I sit and from everything we've experienced, especially in the last 10 or 20 years, it seems like God has just been ripped out of society in every way, shape, and form. Would you guys agree with that?
Oh, definitely.
Absolutely.
It's sad. It's sad. And we talk a lot about healthcare, and there's a lot. I'm telling you, the more that we're talking to people, there's more and more and more people talking about mental and emotional health and wellness. In the emotional wellness arena. Uh-oh, he just dropped again. Hopefully he'll be back. But
we're waiting for our partner. Come back.
He's coming. He must have hit something accidentally.
Sorry about that. Oh, I'm here. I heard everything you said.
Good.
All right. Well, it's just beyond belief when you think about the fact that there's so many things in our society, and especially when we're talking about wellness. And I don't care whether you're talking about physical wellness, mental wellness, or emotional wellness. We gotta invite God back into the conversation, don't you think?
Yes.
I absolutely agree with that.
Yeah. We've been missing too much.
That is absolutely the fact. And sometimes I think people don't necessarily know when I'm talking about it anyway. A lot of people don't really understand what I mean when I'm saying that. But if we can just draw kind of a line in the sand and say, there's two kinds of health and wellness things going on in the world. There's our traditional man-made health and wellness, and then there's natural health and wellness. And, the natural things that we're all looking at and talking about are things that, from my perspective, were put on this planet by our Creator. And so that's what we're trying to do, is to, especially right now, I mean, the three of us and a team of other people working with us, we're going to do a live event in Raleigh on September 21st this year about suicide prevention. And everywhere I go, I mean, gosh, we've had bunches of conversations with people here in Florida. Almost everybody has been touched by suicide somehow. And, there's something missing in our society to have this becoming the next big epidemic. And I'm hearing more people use the word epidemic when they're talking about suicide and emotional well-being challenges. And Rick, I know you got a very personal story about all of that. I mean, you were touched by suicide at a very young age, if I remember right.
Yeah, that's correct. My father took his own life when I was 14.
Wow.
And it led me down a path that nobody could reconcile with me. I could not grasp the reason. I didn't understand what he was doing. And I felt a lot of guilt, and I acted out for many years. And I nearly destroyed everything I'm lucky to be alive. And let me just put it that way.
I hear you.
I
I
thank
hear
God for the lessons.
Well, and I don't think I've ever asked you this question, but was God a real active presence in your family unit at the time that happened?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
I don't even. I think I was baptized. I think I asked Mom one time if I was baptized, but it didn't really matter because we weren't really into it until they joined something called the Unitarian Universalist Church, which is okay. It's all right how people communicate with their God and be in connection with God. And so no, there was no. My grandmother was a Methodist, and she was pretty devout. She went to church every Sunday. But we did not. No.
Well, and we've had an opportunity this past year also to view a documentary that I keep referring back to, because in that documentary called Appalachian Dawn, it was groups of people who came together and asked God for help to be able to take back their community from, in that particular case, it was drug dealers. And, that's another component that is so missing. It's like, why aren't we collectively coming together? And, that is a natural means for being able to ask the Creator for help. If we don't know how to fix this problem of suicide, we have some tools, we have some natural tools, we have some man-made tools, but we also have this power to engage with the Creator and say, show us, tell us what to do to be able to resolve this epidemic. That's what I'm looking for more and more these days, along with some of the other things that we've been dealing with. I mean, what kind of things do you guys feel like? What are some of the natural things, the God-based things that we can do to help enhance emotional well-being? Any ideas, thoughts?
You want me to go first, Don?
Yes, go ahead.
Getting back to the basic principles of being a decent human being, to me, is more important than anything else. In terms of what we can do to heal ourselves, and I talk about this acronym for HOPE. It's honesty, omnipotence, pure love, and essence. Those 4 universal laws are things that were given to us inherently in our design to help keep us on our navigation system through life. So for me, that's the primary need of our people, of all people right now. And of course, the omnipotence in that formula is God, and being able to interchange and interact with God and be able to talk to your Creator and affirm with your Creator and have things clearly laid out in your mind about what it is you're going to do here.
And that's a really good point, because that kind of ties into the whole idea of, helping people to discover a purpose, a mission for being here, right? I know when I was growing up, when I was a teenager, I spent a lot of time feeling really confused. And I even remember writing poems and stuff in high school saying, why am I here? What's my purpose? I spent a lot of times feeling really depressed in high school. It was not a good thing. And, I won't say that I got serious into thinking about ending it all, but I was not a happy camper. I did not really want to continue on this planet. And a lot of it for me was that I think I felt there was something I was supposed to know what to do, but I didn't know what it was. So that to me is such a key. We can help people connect their heads and their hearts, don't we? to me, that's what you just described, Rick. I call it connecting the head and the heart. And if you watch videos like Greg Braden, and he talks about heart, right? He definitely says, in fact, he talks about that our heads, you know, we use electricity here to think, but we almost have a magnetism about us in our hearts, and we have to be able to connect those so that we can use both logic and intuitiveness to discover what that process, what that purpose really looks like.
Yes.
Do you have any thought on that?
I got a lot of thoughts. First of all, let's go back. And parents have not been teaching the kids right from wrong.
Ooh,
That is one of the biggest problems we have.
that's true. That's true.
And you can't blame the kids. You got to blame the parents.
Yes.
Without the parents, though, you can go on and blame a lot on the government. Believe it or not, most families need both parents working to make ends meet.
Right now they do.
These days, yep.
And they have kids. Who takes care of the kids?
Yeah. That's
They're
become a
not
big
being
issue.
taught. That's a big issue.
Mhm.
I can go on and about that, but that's where we got to start at. Bring God back in. Bring kids to church, what have you. But the church has got to change also. If you're going to just say, "Well, you got to do this and that," young people don't want to hear that.
They'll shut down. They'll
The
walk
thing
out
I'd
the
like
door.
to see, and I would like to start a church is with young people and have them decide what's going to be done at the church. Could you imagine if you had 20, 30 young people to start a church
That'd be interesting.
and they made the decisions and that's how the church was run? Of course, they will need some guidance along the line, but right from wrong could be taught.
It's true.
And I think you'll see a big change in people.
Well, no, those are all about core values and such. And, we talk about the core values of hope. We talk about, within the We Care Partnerships Network, we talk about health, wealth, and peace for all. And that's really the goal that we're striving towards, that we're looking to build these new communities around. Because, if we can get to a place, when we can get to a place of building these, I'm starting to call them micro communities. You can educate, you can help to heal, you can help to house people and get them in a space where they become more purpose driven. They become more mission oriented. They can collaborate with other people. We've got a big problem with our young people feeling really, really alone right now. And to me, that is a symptom of our young people not being taught how to find that natural connection with our Creator. If you feel that, how can you feel truly alone? I'm sure you have some thoughts on that, Rick.
Don, you said something really interesting when you were making mention of the kids not being their fault, and it's not, and it really is true that the parents really have to be the driving force in a child's life. And if the parents don't have the honesty navigation between the heart and the brain to be able to know how to navigate through our lives, then their kids are going to be just as bad. I know that my kids turned out great. They're doing fine. Judy and I stayed together for most of their young life, all the way up till they were all adults, off to college and whatever, before we separated. And I believe that was fundamentally key to my kids and my daughter being successful. And they've done very well. They've had their ups and downs, like all kids, but they had a navigation system that was instilled in them, first of all, through the act of intercourse and making the baby. That spiritual and energy connection you make between yourself and your wife and the egg and the whole embryo, the whole womb thing, all of that comes together, and we are designed from the beginning with what we need to be able to be decent in this world. And that's why, and God is important. I mean, it doesn't, one thing that I have always had in back of my mind, my aunt was a very devout Christian. She's still alive, not was. She's 90 now, I think. And so, but she was always a very religious, devout person, along with my grandmother. And she instilled in me the belief that God is everywhere. That she was the one that really convinced me at a very young age, like 9 or 10 years old, that God was there. That, I didn't go to church, and I wasn't saved yet, and this and that, but I was kind of given this idea that there was this other entity that was looking out for what's going on in the world. And I think that we've completely, maybe not completely, because we're still here talking about it, but a large percentage of our population now feels that God's not important, that following a set of laws that are given to us is not important, that it's the wild, wild west when it comes to the values, all of it. I mean, something just came to me, and I just said something just came to me. I got to share. It's about abortion. And this is about God, and it's about our inherent things within us. It all goes back to the sexual act and the decision, the conscious decision to do what you're going to do. When you make that conscious decision together, I always knew, and I bet you guys did too, that there could be a baby as a result. Mm-hmm. Because that is what we do. That is why we make that union. Why God gave us the ability to make that union together to create another human. So my point in that is that the reason that people are so against abortion at this point is because it should never be a need for abortion to begin with. There should never be a reason for it, because if we live the way, and I know that we're going to catch a lot from this, but I got to say it. If we can get back to a point where we understand the union between man and woman is designed to make babies, and that when we make that conscious decision that if a baby results, then the baby is, and that's just all there is to it. I mean, but we've got so far to go back to, guys, to get back to bringing that into our lives. And when you think about it, when we talk about suicide, I mean, some of the acts that we do drive us there. I thought about it. I don't know if you guys have ever thought about it, but I've thought about it. When I was doing the things I was doing, I ran into a telephone pole and killed a girl in an automobile accident. I wanted to die. I was like, I'm done. And I think that subconsciously I was trying to take my life for a lot of years. I was doing stuff that I should not be here right now. And how I survived it, well, we know why I survived it. So,
because you have
I don't know if that answers your question. I don't know if that answers your question or not, Shay, but I felt like I needed to bring that into the picture because it's one of those things where it's kind of like walking up to your neighbor and punch him in the face, right? What'd you do that for? Because I felt like it. Yeah. Did I do anything wrong? No, I just felt like punching you in the face. Those are the kind of things that we need to get back to, just our basic being and helping our kids to understand what it is to be a basic being, because that's lost. It's lost amongst a lot of our young right now.
Absolutely. And I think to kind of wrap that all up in a little package and put a bow on it, I think a lot of what you just described is saying that in general, too many of us have gotten to a place of not valuing human life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's really, and that thought process, that it's permeating, whether we're talking about veterans or whether we're talking about young people or anybody else in between. There's so much where people are not valuing human life. They're not understanding that we really are designed to be incredibly valuable individuals, bringing a gift of some sort to the planet. And just that piece in itself, when you start to understand, and I can't remember who I was listening to this morning, maybe it was somebody at the church, but I can't remember, but they were saying how when they understood, I think it was the lady I was talking to on the phone. They said when they understood that they were so incredibly unique and that they had such a unique gift to bring to the world that nobody else on the planet is qualified to bring, that's when they overcame their depression and started to realize that they were really valuable and worthy of being here.
Yeah.
And that's huge. That's huge. And if we don't bring God into the conversation, I don't know how we get to that point at this point. But I also want to make sure, because we don't want to run all night here, but I do want to also make sure that we also make mention, as we put this event together for September, there's going to be a lot of people who are talking about their experiences in dealing with suicide and, just lack of emotional well-being with people around them. There'll be a lot of that. But we're also going to really try to find lots of natural ways that people can heal, natural ways that people can find a better level of emotional health and well-being, natural ways that, are not full of all kinds of crazy side effects, those kinds of things that come from nature. And whether we're talking about, and we've had some of these conversations within the We Care team, within the Hope team, doesn't matter if we're talking about using natural oils from plants that the Creator put on this plant for us, or whether you're talking about using things like, the vibrations that come from drumming, the, tools like meditation, which really is something that we can do to try to, really help that connection with our Creator. I mean, there's so many different things that we can bring to the table and just help people learn how to release some of the trauma, emotional stuff that gets caught with us. There's a lot of tools that are being developed almost daily these days to help people release those energies. And that is a big piece of what we want to bring to the table in September, do we not?
Absolutely. And I think that we've got a lot of tools and a lot of resources that we can bring. We just got to be careful which ones, we'll go through and we'll pick what we're going to do. And I do want to just extend this a little bit, if I may. The idea of coaching among young and among veterans, I think is going to be crucial. And this is something we're going to offer in September, is the concept of, let me come into your life as someone who has experienced what you've experienced. Let me teach you what I know and help you to understand these basic principles once again, and then turn it over to you, and you go forth and minister however you feel like you should. Not by my doctrine, not by Shay or Don's doctrine, but by the doctrine of the youth having the background and the back knowledge of these principles that we need to help get them back to. So I think in September, that's one of the things that's so critical. And I want to say one more thing about the other thing I was talking about. It's always a woman's choice to do what she's going to do with her body. We know that. It's what you guys do together to make a decision that results in a decision you wish you didn't have to make. So I'll say enough about that. But anyway, yeah. So the September thing, I think is going to be a lot of people coming together with solutions, and we're going to meet a lot of people who have experienced what we've experienced.
And through the Hope Institute, we do have the ability to do some fundraising, because that's one of the things that I know we have been extremely frustrated for a very long time, because a lot of things that are more natural remedies are not covered by insurance. And,
Right.
And there's far too many people right now who are struggling financially that if something's not covered by their insurance, they just absolutely don't think that they have any chance of being able to experience any of these other things. And I don't deal well with the idea that people get shut out because their insurance doesn't cover. So anything that we can do, any ideas that anybody has, anybody who's interested in helping us to build some kind of fund so that people can experience more natural things, more God-based things, more different things that we can work with to try to help improve and enhance that emotional wellness. Reach out to us. Let us know. We want to help more people to overcome the trauma, the PTSD, all of the stuff that people are feeling. There's so many people just riddled with anxiety and fear, and it goes on. And so many of these things can lead down the path of suicidal ideation, and we can stop it. But we got to invite God back in, and we've got to be willing and able to look. And I'm not talking about cutting out any, man-made cures or whatever they are at all. I'm talking about a balanced approach. There's sometimes where we need a quick fix to be able to snap out of a bad situation. But then let's find the balance. Let's find the natural ways to be able to ease these challenges and help people find their own healing path. That's what I think ultimately we'll be looking to help people do.
Yeah. And I think you said it all right there. I don't know that we need to add much to the conversation about what we're hoping to do. And notice the word hope. I use it a whole different way than most people do. I put the link in here for going to the donation page at livinghopeinstitute.org. Because folks, this is really important that we provide the resources necessary to help people. And the people that we're trying to help don't need to be stroking checks to people for thousands of dollars or whatever it costs in order to be able to get these treatments that aren't covered by doctors or by insurance companies. So if you can help us by donating, then we can put that money toward helping people get the resources they need, whether it be, coaching, whether it be wanding, whether it be supplements, nutrition, what healing and ministry, teaching you how to be a hope coach to people in your peer group, all of that stuff. We need some help to get the people what they need so they don't have to pay for it. And that's really the goal right here is, we're not charity. We're not, how do I want to say this? The charity that we're delivering, though, is a solution to help people get where they need to be, rather than being treated and staying in the same plane of illness. We're going to give you steps and methods to be able to climb your way out of there, to get back up to the top where you're supposed to be in a new clean kind of foundation. So fundraising, yes. livinghopeinstitute.org/page-4 is the donation page, and we could certainly use your help with that. So,
well, and this is streaming live on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. And if we can get that link under each of the videos in all three places, that would be a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well,
Okay. Yeah, I'll do that.
sound
You mean in the comments? You're saying?
yeah, in the comments underneath the video. Yep, that
You
is
got
it.
And 4.
Cool deal. Well, we'll wrap it up for tonight. We thank you for being with us, Rick. You know, Don and I are headed for Raleigh on Tuesday. We should be there by Thursday. And you know, we're gonna be rattling some cages and shaking the boots all over the place and you know, getting people to come together to help improve the emotional well-being of our youth and our veterans for sure. But we know the issue of emotional challenges and suicide is touching everybody in our society at this point in time. So we invite people to join with us and help us to be able to educate and help people experience new things, new ideas, and new ways so we can put an end to the suicide epidemic. We thank you all for being here tonight. If there's anything here that resonated with you, please comment, please like it, please share it with other people.
Get in contact with us.
And get in contact with us. And yes, for the folks all the folks we know in the Raleigh area, we'll be hanging around. So hope to see you over the next few weeks. That's right. Be prepared. Take care, everybody. Have an awesome week.
Safe travels.